Hey, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Let's Talk About It. This is Susan Johnson, and my co-host, Dennis O'Brien, is out doing great things all over the town of Windham. But we're here tonight with a fabulous, fabulous setup of guests from the Windham Center area, and we're going to talk about all the great things that they do in Windham Center, which is a fabulous part of our town. Every single part of the town, of course, is fabulous, but right now we're going to be focusing on Windham Center. So I'm really, really thrilled to have Steve Lamoureux here, who is going to be focusing on the Jazz in the Garden event. And thank you so much for joining us, Steve.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, and we also have Andrew Celentino, and he is a great, wonderful classical musician, and he has been working so hard to raise money for the Windham Inn. Thank you so much for being with us, and thank you for sharing your great, wonderful artistic ability.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks so much.
Okay, and also Gwen Bruno, who has been working tirelessly on making sure that Windham Inn is restored. Thank you so much, Gwen, for being with us.
Thank you, Susan.
All right, we love that. All right, so let's just start with a little bit of the history and a little bit of what's going on. Why do we do the Jazz in the Garden? Start with you, Steve, and then we'll talk about that, and then we'll go over to Gwen and talk about the Windham Inn.
All right.
Okay, thank you so much.
No, this is the 22nd annual event for Jazz in the Garden, which is a fundraiser for the Windham Free Library, and it's the largest single event, money-raising event for the library, and it supports the library and the Dr. Hunt office, which is part of the library property. And it's just a historic little gem, I guess. The Dr. Hunt office we use to read stories to the grammar school kids, which is a lot of fun. And the library, of course, is an old bank building with 2 rooms and not enough room. And a lot of books, and some art. Around the walls there are arts from all local artists. We have a Bacchus carving that was done by British soldiers who were incarcerated at which is now one of the houses on Scotland Road, and they made this Bacchus sitting on a keg. And in the 1780s, and
Wow.
it's sitting in the library.
Did not know that.
Yeah, it's quite a piece, and it's got to be about, I don't know, over 2 feet tall and about 2 feet wide. I mean, it's quite a thing, really. The guys did a great job. But that's it.
Oh,
I mean,
that's fabulous. And I just want to say, sometime I think it would be nice for when we do the Jazz in the Garden, because I've been to almost every one. I can't say I've been to every one. It's once in a great while I might have a time away because I think I was at a convention last year or so, something like that. But I do try to make every single Jazz in the Garden. And wouldn't it be nice to just do a little tour before it starts or something of the Windham Free Library?
That would be interesting, except there just isn't enough room.
The
The last event we had
Yeah.
that was unique, I suppose, is that
Yeah.
we had a
Yeah.
woman there who had worked in the library for 27 years.
Wow.
And she asked, she was going to retire, and we got the mayor to show up with a commendation, proclamation, whatever, and a key
Nice.
to the city.
Very nice.
And
Very nice.
we were packed in the library hall to
Very-
see that.
Wow.
But that was very cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
That's great, and it's just such a wonderful thing. Well, maybe some visual, either paintings or pictures of the inside might be also a way to.
Yeah, we're trying. Well, there's a lot of stuff we have to archive.
Yes.
We've been trying to
Yeah.
find a way with a student archivist to do that, and we're still working on that. Because there's not only there's the art, but there are boxes of deeds and all kinds of stuff. I
It
mean,
sounds like deeds.
two-
Might be belong in the town hall.
2 years
Yeah.
ago,
Wow.
2 years ago, one of the auction items at the Jazz in the Garden was a map, the original map that was laid out for Windham Center, and each one of those houses, if you drive around the green, there was no green.
Right.
There were the properties. Each of the properties was 33 acres, and there were these long, narrow strips of property,
Yeah.
most of which is now the sand pit. behind along Plains Road. So, but that there were 33-acre slots of properties along there, and we auctioned that item. Well, that was a unique piece of history
Wow.
that we framed and had produced. And
That's wonderful.
What are some of the artifacts this year that you're selling? Anything specifically?
I
stand
don't
out
think
that
there's
you
any
know?
artifacts so much.
Yeah, or art or whatever.
Yeah, the art is all comes from local artists,
Mhm.
so we've been collecting that. We have a fellow in town who is quite a woodworker, and he's offered a table, a full-size table. We have your wife who's offering
Tai Chi,
Tai Chi and health
lessons, yeah.
classes.
Mhm.
You're offering piano lessons.
Yeah, yeah.
We have a guy who's
Yeah.
offering guitar lessons.
Excellent.
We have some of the homeowners are offering dinners at their homes. We have Barbara McClintock, who is a world-renowned book illustrator. She is offering a signed copy of her latest
Nice.
book,
Wonderful.
Tomfoolery, and of course the venue itself. This is the second year we're having it at the at 80 Wyndham Center Road, which is a beautiful mansion and 33 acres with an enormous barn in the back.
Phenomenal.
It is
Yeah.
beautiful, yes, absolutely fabulous.
It was actually called the John Travolta home at one point, but he never actually bought it.
He never bought it. He was going to buy it for his mother or something. Yeah, that's the rumor.
We're going to introduce Andrew Celentino, who is a wonderful
Yeah, thank
pianist, and he's also been, working really hard to help out with the Wyndham Center knowledge and that sort of thing by playing his classical piano pieces.
Sure.
So welcome, and thank you so much for being here. And tell us a little bit about what got you started in doing this.
I got to tell you that my wife and I, Hillary, just moved here 3 years ago, and we just absolutely love this neighborhood. We had no idea we were going into it's such an amazing neighborhood, but the people here are just amazing, first of all, but they find ways to get together. We literally have a soup night every month where someone makes soup and the rest of us just come over with appetizers or wine. It's just a great way to network with these great, talented people in the neighborhood. People that,
It's
as
too
you
bad
said,
nobody knows how to
woodworkers.
cook.
I think they all
Well,
cook
that's not
great.
true.
Yeah, no, it's amazing food.
Oh my God, the food's
It is
amazing.
great, yes, yes.
But and then I have to give a special thank you to Barbara and Andrew Gibson, who started this thing 22 years ago. They have a beautiful garden in the backyard of their Italianate house, and they just did a wonderful job. And now you're taking over as president, and Tom Avery and Matt Miller are running their show on this estate, the Foxhall Estate. So I've just been so enamored by all of that, and I wanted to contribute in some way to the Wyndham Inn, because I look at that and I think it definitely needs to be worked on. It's like the only thing in our neighborhood that is kind of like an eyesore. We need to address that. I'm so glad Gwen's working on it. And so in my small way, I raise funds by selling my CDs, whenever I can. So I have a CD of music I wrote for the Thoreau Society that's very nature-oriented. I have a new CD that came out this year with just 18 classical pieces. That's some of my favorites. And in fact, I sell those at the Cupcake Place down the street, so you can buy them there, and also at Dan's Awards, and they got peppered out throughout the city.
Dan's Awards, now where is that?
That's the same road as the laundromat. I can't think of the name of that road at the moment, but the same. It's just right up the
Over
street.
by Memorial Park?
It's right around here. It's I'm embarrassed to tell you, I don't know the name of the
Yeah.
street.
Which
I'm too new to the
laundromat?
neighborhood.
Right
too.
off maybe CVS. I think it's off the CVS road.
Oh, yeah, well, that's
Yeah.
right by the Memorial Park.
Oh yes, okay.
Yeah,
yes.
okay,
Yeah,
very,
yeah.
very good. So,
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure people knew where
So
they could pick it up.
I do have
I think we all know the Cupcake Place.
Oh, yeah.
Cupcakes for Ladies, right here on Main Street, just up the street from WILI.
It is
and they
the
do have
best.
the best cupcakes I ever had.
I gotta
so.
tell you, the best in the world, as far as best in Boston, best anywhere, yeah.
They really are
Yeah.
great, yes.
So I have a
really
concert
good.
coming up, actually, it's a little early, but November 3rd, I have a
Oh.
concert coming up with an Israeli pianist named Rami Barniv, so he's coming to town. But every 3 months or so, I have a house concert and raise money for the Wyndham Inn. And I just had a concert yesterday at the Briarwood in Worcester and raised some money there, too. That all goes to the Wyndham Inn to help with that.
Oh, that's wonderful. And you were over at Oliver's a couple of weeks ago.
That's true. Yeah.
And raising money for the Wyndham Inn
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
And
And
you
speaking
had
of the
an
Wyndham
Easter
Inn, we're going to introduce Gwen Bruno, who
Yeah.
has been doing wonderful work to make sure that that Wyndham Inn stands and looks beautiful. And thank you so much for your hard work. You've been working on this for how long now, Gwen?
Oh, we've been working on the Wyndham Inn for about 5 years. The first year we didn't own the inn, but we negotiated a donation from the previous owner. And we incorporated, Town of Wyndham helped us incorporate. We hold nonprofit status, we hold tax exempt status, and we've been working diligently toward restoration of the inn. We're applying for grant funding. We won the 1772 award.
Congratulations.
That's
Thank
nice.
you.
Yes, yes.
The second year in a row, that kind of makes us a unicorn. And we're using those funds to put a new roof on the rest of the inn.
That's just the right step to take to preserve that whole inside of the inn by putting that new roof on. That'll be spot on for helping you get the rest of that work done.
Absolutely. There were significant leaks that permeated all 3 floors. And so we put a roof on the front of the inn. And this year we've raised enough funds to put a roof on the rest of the inn. Before we did that, we found some structural issues. The L that runs along North Road needed a scissor truss repair. From what we could tell, somebody sheared a scissor truss, which held the walls in. And the wall started to separate.
Oh my God.
And so we were able to arrest it, and we're going to we are working with Cirrus Engineering to do permitted fixes. We just got the engineering specs to do a permitted fix for the scissor truss. And not only that, but we have an engineering solution to support the bulging wall until we can permanently fix that as well. And that is scaffolding, and it will serve 2 purposes. It will support the wall until we have the major work done, and it will also serve as scaffolding as a work site when the work is done as well.
Amazing work, and that just goes to show you, to our listeners, what wonderful work the Wyndham Center folks do. They all work together, they all socialize together, and they're all making a big difference in the Wyndham Center area, which is a beautiful area. And saving the Wyndham Inn is a historic, great thing that you're doing, and it's absolutely wonderful that everybody's working so hard to do that. So that's great. Great work. Thank you for that.
Thank you. And everybody in Wyndham Center gets together, and Andrew has been instrumental in raising funds that go directly. We're an all-volunteer group. It goes directly to restoring the Wyndham Inn. Aside from Andrew's upcoming concert, first weekend in November, right? Do we have a location for it yet?
Not yet. It's either my house or it may be this wonderful, it may be the Leonard Hall. I have to talk to them on, actually, this week. They're going to come back and let me know if they can do it.
Okay.
So,
And so to find out more about the Wyndham Inn, please visit our website, which is wyndhampreservationinc.org, and you can see all the upcoming events. Another project we're working on is a rock concert fundraiser.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
Kinetic Energy will headline, and we're looking to put together a multi-group rock concert.
Wow, very
Hopefully
good.
this spring.
Very, very nice.
If I can put in a shameless plug for every Thursday, I have a thing called A Composer's Corner at 7:30, and then at 8:30, I have a different Composer's Corner on the local Spectrum Channel 192. So I have Kevin Tracy this week, who's a local composer, who I heard at the concert, the Concert Green. He played, they played one of his pieces, and so I interviewed him. So it's coming in this 8:30 at Channel 192 on tomorrow night. So that's something people can look for.
That's great. Tell people the way that they can reach your weekly concerts that you do.
Well, I also have a concert. I do a little bit of a concert at 7 o'clock. It's called the 5-minute piano concert, where I just give a little one piece. And I guess I'll have to find a way. I'll put it on next door so people can find it there, and there'll be a link to that. Yeah.
Okay, that'd be great.
It's
Yes.
the same link every week. So,
Yes, yeah, I appreciate that. It's just at a time usually where I'm at a meeting or running out doing
Sure, yeah.
numerous things, but I finally got to hear you at Oliver's, and
Oh,
that
thank you.
was great.
Yeah, thank you.
Very, very good.
Thank you.
And so tell us a little bit more about the Wyndham Center, and you've been hugely energetic for the whole area, Steve. Tell us a little bit
Oh yeah,
more.
in many ways. Not
Yeah,
just
you've
this,
been really someone
right?
who's bringing people together in so many different
Yeah, I
ways.
guess I'm not, moss doesn't grow under my feet.
I guess not. I
Um,
guess not. You were out
But
there.
yeah, I'm the vice president of on the board of the library, active in St. Paul's Episcopal Church, and yeah, I seem to get around. What I would like to say is that if anybody's interested in attending the Jazz in the Garden, which is September 8th the Sunday afternoon from 3 to 6. If you go to the Wyndham Free Library, the wyndhamfreelibrary.org website, there is a link to Jazz in the Garden, and you can see photos from prior years, and there is a link to purchase tickets. Tickets are $70 in advance, $75 at the door. We had 106 people last year in the pouring rain.
It was amazing.
Yeah,
That's
which
fabulous.
is really,
Yeah.
really a testament to
The food's amazing
to the
too.
and yeah, there's appetizers.
Yes.
About
There's a
20
silent auction.
appetizers. Amazing.
Yes.
Amazing number of
Yeah.
appetizers.
We have a different jazz band this year with
Mhm.
a female vocalist who sounds incredible.
Mhm.
So that's something new this year. We had an instrumental jazz band the last couple of years.
Mhm.
The property is worth seeing just to go see
Oh
it.
yes.
Absolutely, you got that right.
It's a lot of fun. A lot
Yeah,
of
it's
fun.
just a
Beautiful.
great event.
Yeah.
And,
You call
lots
it
of room.
Jazz in the Garden Goes to Broadway. Tell us a little bit about the Goes to Broadway part.
Mm.
that's, well, they've created a series of appetizers all with Broadway-based ideas.
Mhm.
The band knows it's about the Broadway theme as well, so they're going to include a lot of Broadway
Mhm.
melodies into their repertoire.
Mhm.
And the money this year is being used to restore a painting of the Bacchus statue I had mentioned before.
Wow.
There's a
Mhm.
painting that's really fallen into
Mhm.
disrepair. The frame is broken and everything. And
Mhm.
we found a guy, I believe he's from Yukon, who will take on the task of restoring that painting for
Mhm.
us. And then I don't know what we're going to do with it,
Mhm.
but I mean it's hanging in the library. You know?
Sure.
By the way, it's important that it's the Wyndham Free Library because Wyndham Free Library is a gambling site. So
Yes, yeah.
you have to make sure you type in the Wyndham Free Library.
Wyndham Free Library.
Wyndham Free Library was commandeered by some,
It was hijacked.
hijacked. So
Ooh.
it's the Wyndham Free Library.
Naughty, naughty.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, anyway, we can raise money. No, I'm kidding.
Aha! Secret.
Yeah.
But oh boy, when did that happen?
Oh, a couple of years ago, and they
Oh,
just can't get
really?
it back.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah. So,
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, did you try to get it back?
Oh, I didn't, but I was told that once
No,
people,
I don't think we bothered.
Yeah.
They had invested in a new website,
Mm.
and they didn't. As long as it's clear, we try
The
to
Wyndham Free
advertise it
Library,
as
yeah.
much as we can.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, well that's a really good thing to keep in mind because nobody wants to get hooked into a gambling.
Exactly.
right.
Yeah, no, it's that's
Breakers are gamble enough.
Mm.
Yeah, I'd say it's not one of my fun things to do,
Mm.
but there are those that like it.
Mhm.
I shouldn't speak of it, but anyway.
Right, right.
But if they're doing that
Well,
kind of
right.
thing, well, I wonder what made them pick the free library.
Who knows? It was an available URL at the
They
time.
just
I
do
guess.
stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
it'd have to be a legal battle. I don't know if we want to get into the
No.
whole thing, but
Oh,
Yeah.
I complain, but
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
I don't know how much good that would do, but
Mm.
I could look into it.
oh, okay.
If you want.
Yeah, yeah.
I kind of
That's
do,
fine.
yeah.
I think maybe
It's
you
kind
can do something. You
of-
can
Well,
probably
no, I don't have
press
that
a
kind
few
of power.
buttons, and they-
But I can press a lot of buttons,
and they
maybe.
just blow up. The whole site would just blow up.
Oops, oh well.
Oh well. Susan at work again.
Well, that's a good one.
Mm.
But anyway, I just want to go back a little bit to the inn because I remember when you first moved into this area, Gwen. The Wyndham Inn, people were trying to figure out what to do, and you just took the initiative.
Mm.
Tell us.
I remember the meeting. I was a fairly new homeowner, and just
Mhm.
the fact that someone wanted to tear down this beautiful, historic building that is the center of Wyndham Center.
Mhm.
I was livid.
Mhm.
I couldn't.
Uh-huh.
I couldn't stay seated. And I asked a few pointed questions of the gentleman from the former owner who they would not answer. But I read the report, and in my day job I write proposals, so I understand different types of writing. And I read through the report, and I understood the writing styles that they used in order to evoke fear and apprehension and second guess the validity of trying to restore it. And I also realized that they were contradicting what they were saying in the report, so I pointed that out. And after the meeting, 3 gentlemen came up to me and said, "Who are you?" And that happened to be our former town manager, Jim Rivers, Matt Bertafay, and our town attorney. And I have a history in preservation. It's been a lifelong dream. I'm on my 4th historic, including the inn, historic building, and my 3rd historic home. And they said, look, we don't think the inn should be torn down either, but we don't have this expertise. If you agree to organize with your neighbors, we'll incorporate you. The town will incorporate you. And literally my neighbors were standing around me and said, let's go.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
great.
and that just goes to show, to our listeners, when you work together, you can get things done, and that is that's one of the themes that I think that we can use here in Wyndham, all over every segment of our town, working together to do so many wonderful things, and working together to preserve our history, which is what a lot of the Jazz in the Garden, the festivities are about. They're about working together and preserving the history, because Wyndham is a historic town and Connecticut is a historic state. And so when you stop and think about all the history here, we really do have a great deal to share with people here in the state, but also people all over the country. And I think as we move forward, thinking about how things work, thinking about our history and how we got to where we are today, is one of the things that we want to bring out. We want to bring out who signed the Constitution. We want to bring out all these things that we have from this area in Eastern Connecticut, and really make sure people get that sort of thing. So one of the things that you do as classical pianist, Andrew, is you do historic music. And tell us a little bit about how you got to be a classical pianist.
Well, actually, I was a fascinated kid. I remember sitting in the back of my dad's Ford, 1950 Ford, and I just heard this music, and it just, in my head, I just was trying to figure it out. But I have to admit, I don't have perfect pitch, but I was always fascinated with music, and I started to take serious classical lessons about 25 years ago. And in fact, right now I have a program which starts with a piece of music from the 1700s, theme from Orpheus by Gluck, and I play Rachmaninoff, written in the 1940s. So I play a series of chronological pieces in order to show the movement of music through history. And then also I show how I'm inspired by that music and play my own pieces. I compose my own pieces as well. And because I'm a composer, I have an idea of why these composers did certain things, so I kind of share with the audience my take on what that composer was trying to do and how he does it, and how Beethoven made the Moonlight Sonata so bittersweet. What did he do to it musically to make you kind of pine over what's going on here? I mean, it's like it's deliberately a little discomforting because it's about unrequited love, and so you can feel that pain. And how did he do it? And I talk about how he did it structurally, so I love examining things like that and sharing with the audience, and then playing it so they can appreciate those little segments and how it all comes together.
Oh, that would be wonderful to actually hear, that sort of thing,
Yeah,
and
thank you.
understand that. Because I think that's one of the things. My mother was a classical pianist, and she really was excellent back in the day. But it wasn't anything that when you're her age, they weren't encouraging her to.
Yes.
She was very driven to do it, and I remember as a little one, just hearing her go, go, go.
I think you have to be driven. I'm kind of obsessed with the piano. It's kind
Yeah.
of like, I joke with my wife that it's my mistress, my piano.
Well, yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
that's how it should be,
Yeah.
or that's how it is for people who have that kind of capacity.
Mm-hmm.
So we're running up into the last 5 minutes of the show because the Red Sox are coming, and we want to make sure that we get the last things in. So I'm going to start with you, Gwen, and I'm going to go back through to Andrew, and then to have Steve
Sure.
finish up
Okay.
with just a couple of things that you want to say about what's coming up and your work that you're doing with the Wyndham Inn. We're starting with you, Gwen.
Oh, well, thank you, Susan. And to pick up on your point, I think our history, we learn from it, we understand where we came from and where we're going. And as far as our built history, you just can't replace these buildings today. They're just, the workmanship, the materials, it's just not there. So once they're lost, they're lost. I don't know everyone here knows that Wyndham Center is actually the oldest part of Wyndham. And it was founded in the
92.
It was actually that's when Wyndham became Wyndham, but really our village started when a man by the name of William Cates showed up with his enslaved man by the name of Joe Guinea. So our town was founded by a free man and an enslaved man, and we grew from there.
That's great. And I just want to add that I think that many people don't realize Jackson Street in Willimantic was named after one of the first black families that came to Willimantic. So, yes. So that's great information. That's the kind of thing we want to talk about on Let's Talk About It. Andrew, tell us a little bit more.
I was trying to find the address for Dan's Awards. Yeah, so please go to Nextdoor, because I will post tonight the link, the Zoom link. So every Thursday at 7 o'clock, that Zoom link always works, and I do a little 5-minute. And I happen to be fascinated with words, so I also share with people the words I learned during the week, and we have a little word game. So it's quite fun, about 15 minutes, and then at 7:30 we have our Composer's Corner.
Excellent. And what's the website address?
Oh, for the Composer's Corner, it's literally www.acomposerscorner, no apostrophe, which is acomposerscorner.com.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. And that's how we're going to get you for all the different activities that you do.
Sure.
Well, thank you so much for that work that you're doing
Thank
in
you.
the Wyndham
My
Center.
pleasure.
It's great to. I was just really so happy to be at Oliver's
Sure.
and have you playing there. It was great.
Thank
So
you.
yeah. Okay, and now Steve, all your amazing work keeping everybody organized
Mhm.
We're-
and getting that Jazz in the Garden going.
That's it, going forward.
Yes.
It is a group effort,
Mhm.
certainly with the neighborhood. And again, it's September 8th, Sunday, September 8th from 3 to 6.
Mhm.
You can get tickets at thewyndhamfreelibrary.org.
Mhm.
And we hope to see you there. We
All
have,
right. Yeah.
I think the Eastern Rugby team, or club, I guess they are, is going to provide the waiter service
Mm.
for passing of all of the appetizers as well. In that, we didn't mention that before.
That's wonderful. They do step in sometimes, and it's great to have them doing that. And say once more when it is, and if they didn't get a chance to get it online, can they just stop by at what's the address?
The address is 80
Scott.
Wyndham Center Road
Oh, okay.
in Wyndham.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Big yellow mansion. You can see from the road. You can't miss it. As you drive down the driveway, there is a sign for Fox Hall,
Mhm.
and you continue straight following, and then there'll be plenty of room for parking. You'll see an enormous barn in the back, and there'll be tents and music playing, and it's a great event. Last year, in 22 years, the first time it ever rained,
Mm.
and we still had 106 people
It was a downpour.
in the barn. It
Surprising.
was sloppy.
It was. So, yeah.
At that point, the waiting staff was the Willimantic wrestling team.
Mm.
Oh,
And
very nice.
They
very
had
nice.
the biggest
They're
fun helping cars get out of the mud.
It was a good thing we had them there. All right, this is Susan Johnson with another wonderful show. We're focusing on Jazz in the Garden this time, and we'll be back for another show next week. Take care.